Okay, we're continuing. Maybe we'll even complete today. This speech of the Lubavitcher Rebbe that he made in 1991. And the speech that he made in 1991, and it refers to this week's Torah portion and the difference between the scouts that Moses sent out and the spies that Joshua sent out. And the Rebbe, first of all, says that even though that on the face of things, the spies that Moses sent was a catastrophe. But, says the Rebbe, don't jump too quickly to make a negative conclusion. The fact is that the spies that Moses sent in had two big major accomplishments. Number one, they were the first Jews as part of the Jewish people to actually enter the land of Israel. They entered the land of Israel as representatives of the Jewish people. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they were representatives of God, but they were as individuals, but as Jewish people fulfilling the promise that God promised to Moses when he gave the Torah, that the land of Israel was going to be the land of the Jews, and that God was going to say, I'm going to fulfill the promise that I promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So the first ones to actually accomplish this were the 12 spies that Moses sent in. Number one. Number two, they came back with a good report. And so everyone knew from then on that the land of Israel was a good place. It was a fertile place. It was a healthy place, right? The people that lived there were healthy. They were big. Okay. So the Rebbe said that the spies that Moses sent out more represented the aspects of the soul, the personality. Moses was sure that there wasn't going to be any war. God was going to fight for them. And he just sent the spies, his scouts, just to bring back a good report. And he was startled to hear that they came back with a negative report. And the Jewish people believed it. And he believed it. Okay, Joshua was not so much the personality, and it wasn't an intimate, friendly way. Joshua's thing was war. Joshua knew that they were going to have to go into the land of Israel and they were going to actually have to fight. God was not going to do it for them alone. God would do it through them. So he knew they were going to fight. Fighting a battle, you don't have to have an awareness of what the strategy is and too logical. You're not supposed to make too many decisions on your own. A soldier is a person that takes orders to do and to stop doing. That's what the soldier does. A soldier takes orders. He gets an order not to do, he doesn't do. He gets an order to do, he does. Therefore, Joshua sent out only 2 spies, because 2 spies that represent a way of serving God without thinking too much, without understanding too much, without any emotions or involving my personality or my character to get involved in it in a personal way. Being a soldier does or refrains. Therefore, he only sent 2, which is not the case. Moshe, he sent out 12. That represents the 12 aspects of the soul, 12 aspects of creation. 12. Okay, that's what we got up to. And therefore, it says Joshua sent out spies. When the spies of Joshua, he sent out that he did it in quiet. In silence, no advertising. Moses, when he sent out the 12, it was advertised. Everybody knew they were going. Everyone was awaiting their return. They didn't even hide the fact that they were spying out the land from the inhabitants, from the Gentiles, from the were inhabiting the land of Canaan. They also made no effort to hide, because they knew that God was going to be with them. Some reason, unexplainably, they came back. I mean, the Rebbe explains it other places. They came back all of a sudden, and they convinced the Jewish people not to go. because they did it with personality. The Jewish people thought, well, it depends on me. We're calling the shots. But Joshua, he sent out the two spies, and he sent them out only one thing, to teach them how to be soldiers. This is what's called Kabbalat Ol, accepting the yoke of heaven, and bittul, and surrender to the commander. And this is done in a quiet way. You don't ask questions, you don't try to understand, you do. Ours is not to reason why, ours is but lechet im elokecha. You should go in quiet with your God. Hatzna lechet. In other words, you don't, how do you say, protrude. You're not trying to be noticed. You're just doing what God wants. Rebbe Mendel Futterfass once told me that there was an example that they said that, what's a chassid? He said that he heard that once, he doesn't know if it was the Tsar or if it was Napoleon or if it really even happened, but the example is given that once, let's say it's the Tsar, he wanted to go across a river, a shallow river, but there was no bridge. And he knew that in his chariot, his what is it called? His not his wagon, his chariot, okay, his stagecoach. So it wouldn't go over the river. It was muddy. So immediately the soldiers laid down in the river so that the Tsar could go over with his carriage, go over. So they had to lay down layers, right? One layer wasn't enough. So let's say they have 3 layers. So the 3 layers laid down, they were going to die, but they didn't care, because all they were thinking about was the Tsar has to go over the river. Napoleon has to go over the river, whatever it is. Right? Is it a true story? Is it not true story? But the point is the point. The point is that a soldier, he's only interested in the goal. He's not, that's the first thing is the goal. What happens to him is secondary. If he was think about himself, he wouldn't go into battle at all. Send somebody else. Okay. And so that's what Joshua did. Joshua realized that the way to conquer the land of Israel is not to think too much and not to be too logical and not to be, is that even if you don't understand what's going on and you don't understand what God is and you don't understand what holiness is and you don't understand, but nevertheless you do it. You do it because that's the goal, like a soldier. That's the only way we're going to do it. It says now we can understand why it is that the 2 spies that Joshua sent out were Joshua, that Joshua sent out was Kalev ben Yefuneh, and Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron Cohen. Pinchas, he was the one that killed Zimri. Remember, he killed. We're going to get that. What is it? 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Pinchas and Kalev ben Yefuneh. Okay, Kalev, he was the only one that remained from the spies that Moses sent in. Remember, Moses sent 12 spies in. One of them was Joshua himself, and the other one was Kalev. Kalev, he was the representative of the tribe of Judah, I think. Kalev ben Yefuneh. But Kalev, it said, Ruach acheret imo. So with a different spirit with him. And he followed after God. That was Kalev. And so Moses sent 10 spies in, 12 spies, scouts, and 10 of them went sour. And only 2 of them remained loyal to Moses and the purpose for which they were sent in, Kalev and Pinchas. I'm sorry, not so. Not that. Take it back. I take it back. Kalev and Joshua, right? Now, fast forward 40 years later, Joshua is now the leader of the Jewish people, and he sends in scouts. Who does he send in? Kalev. Kalev already had experience. He was one of the loyal ones, so he sent in. And he sent in Pinchas. Now, why in the world did he send Pinchas? Pinchas was a Kohen. He was from Levi tribe. He was the son of Elazar ben Aaron Cohen, and he was from the tribe of Levi. Now the Levites were not warriors. why did Joshua send Pinchas for the necessity of conquering the land of Israel? The tribe of Levi, it says, they were not warriors like the rest of the Jews. So Kalev, we can understand why Joshua sent in, because he was already loyal, right? And he already had experience. So he proved himself, and he was one of the loyal ones. But Pinchas came from nowhere. And not only that, Pinchas was not a fighter at all. And why did Pinchas be sent? Yeshlamon can say the explanation is, according to what it says in the Gemara, that the land of Israel is going to be divided into, let me get this. The land of Israel is going to be divided into not 12 portions like Moses did, but the 13 portions. Why 13? Because there were the 12 tribes, but the tribe of Joseph became divided into two. Remember, that was the blessing that Jacob gave to Joseph. The Ephraim, Menashe, Reuven, and Shimon, Yuli. Says that Ephraim, now Joseph, you are not going to be one tribe. You're going to be two tribes, and you're going to get two portions of the land of Israel. So that comes out to 12. Why 12? Because Levi didn't get a portion in the land of Israel. He didn't get a portion. He got the 48 cities that he got, but he didn't get a portion of the land of Israel. There was no area of Levi. Levi's thing was just to serve in the temple and to help to teach Torah. It says, so therefore there were already 12 tribes without Levi. In the future, there's going to be 13 portions. Levi is going to get a portion in the land of Israel. There's going to be 13. So that also the tribe of Levi will receive a portion in the land of Israel. Like it says, Shar Levi Echad. Like it says that Levi is going to receive a portion. Where does it say that here? In Ezekiel. Ezekiel. Lama lo zachal Levi. Why did Levi up to Moshiach, up to the time of the Moshiach, why did Levi not get a portion in the land of Israel that Joshua divided, right, when the Jews went in? The Bizat with his brothers. Again, the land of Israel was divided into 12 different areas until like about 150 years before the temple was destroyed. So in other words, it was divided into 12 different areas. This was like for the 440 years that there were only the judges, and then for another, 250 years, let's say, right, 250 years. So that's like 600, 700 years. The land of Israel was divided into areas. Each tribe had their own area, but Levi didn't have one. Why didn't he have a portion? Because Levi was separated to serve God. Levi's thing was not to plow and to plant and to protect his land like everybody else. They received charity from everyone else. It says they received the tithes, the portions from the animals and portions that they received. Well, the horos darachab hayesharim and also to teach the Jewish people. They were free to learn Torah and to work in the temple. Like it says, Yoru mishpatecha leYaakov v'toratcha leYisrael, that the tribe of Levi, they taught the laws of the Torah to the Jewish people. Therefore, they were separated from the world, so that the world would not disturb them. They could devote themselves totally to Torah. So therefore, they didn't work in a war like other Jews. They didn't get a portion of the land of Israel. But what? They are the armies of God, soldiers of God. That's Levi. Like it says, Berech Hashem Chelo, that God should bless his power. Hu Baruch, the only time that the Levites were outstanding warriors was only in the middle of the second temple with the whole miracle of Hanukkah. And then there was just a handful of Levites, a handful of Levites. It says there was only like 11 of them, 13 or something. It says that God would bless his power. What type of power? Rashi says it was talking about the miracle of Hanukkah when they had to fight against the Greeks. But simply it means that God would bless the power of Levi to sit and learn Torah. It's not easy. Baruch Hu Zochelem, and may he be blessed, those people who merited to have God as their portion. But in the future, since then, in those days, everyone is going to be devoted to God, and everyone will be aware of God. Like it says, or it's Deus Hashem, the world will be filled with the awareness of God. Everyone will feel that they're being created, and everyone in the world will feel that they're created for a purpose. So therefore, the whole world will only be occupied in knowing God alone. Like the world now is occupied in money or politics, whatever they're occupied. In the future, they'll only be occupied about real reality, the Creator. Like it says, the world will be filled with the dat of Hashem, with the awareness of God, like water fills the ocean. It's a passage in Isaiah, right? Isaiah, you know. Therefore, you won't have to have a special tribe of Levi to be separated from the world to teach everyone about God, because everyone will know God. God won't be this religious idea that's just in books. Everyone will feel God is creating everything. Therefore, Yakabel Gam, Shevet Levi, therefore Levi will also receive a portion in the land of Israel. Because receiving a portion in the land of Israel will not imply that you're going to have to plow and work and be disturbed all the time and fight battles. And maybe we can also say that dividing the land of Israel into 13 portions in the future, this is also the idea of unity. Unity which is above any division. How is unity expressed by the number 13? Unity is expressed by the number 1, right? Oh, I see what's going on next. So it says unity, the word 1 is the numerical value 13. Aleph is 1, Chet is 8, that's 9, and Daled is 4. 9 and 4 is 13. So the number 13 indicates oneness. Chalukah, or is therefore dividing the land of Israel in the future, will be in a way that God will divide it himself. Like it says, these are the divisions, says God. God says, I'm going to divide the land of Israel. Another sentence in Ezekiel. Ezekiel has a lot of prophecies of what's going to be in the future. He also has prophecies about the third temple. What's it going to be? The whole idea of the third temple comes from his prophecies. And what's it going to be? Shemizeh, moving from this, it's understood Shagam HaChalukah, that this dividing the land of Israel that God is going to do in the future into 13 sections is mitzad, in a way of unity, because it comes from the one God. And therefore, Loka Chalukah Shel Olam Hazeh, not like the division of this world will be the divisions which will be in the future. Nowadays, in this world, a person has a field with a wheat field. As he devotes himself to wheat, he doesn't devote himself to fruits, apartis, trees. He has he has an orchard. So, whereas the orchard, he can't plant over there wheat. But in the future, it's not going to be that way. And every person will have, it says, there won't be one person that doesn't have land in a mountain and in the valley and in the what is it? Another word for a valley. In the valley, in the high places, in the low places. Like it says, Shar Ruvain Echad, Shar Yehuda Echad, Shar Levi Echad. God will divide the land of Israel so that everyone will have everything. The explanation is like this. Nowadays, the world is revealed by means of godliness, which is a low level of godliness, which is relevant to the world. Therefore, therefore, godliness can be put into the world. That's what it seems. the Jews are one group of people. There's religious Jews, not religious Jews. God seems to be, right, take it or leave it. But in the future, it won't be that way. After the world is refined, then drawing godliness will be from a level which is not relevant to the world. It won't be, so to speak, divided like the world is. And it'll be a level of godliness which will be above any sort of divisions of the world. It'll be true oneness by means of the unity of the Jewish people, which will, all of them will be like the level of Levi. And like the Rambam says, not only the tribe of Levi should devote themselves to God, but any person that wants to come close to God, here it seems to imply even a non-Jew, he becomes holy in the holiness of God, and God will be his portion and his lot forever, eternally, and ever. Just like the Kohanim, just like the Kohanim, Kohans merited to the Levites. Okay, so what's going on over here? What's going on? The oneness of God is reality. Everything else is just aspects of reality or non-reality, imagination, untruth. When God gave the Torah to the Jewish people, then the whole world shook because the world realized that it was just a creation, that it's God's world. It's not our world in any way. Nothing really belongs to us, including ourselves. Everything is the possession of God and everything is the creation of God. But nevertheless, everything is divided. But that's true unity. Just like a person has toes and he has a nose and he has eyes and he has ears and he has all these different aspects, but altogether that makes one person. That's the person himself. Right? That's my, hey, what are you doing? It's my toe. Hey, that's my hair. What are you cutting my hair? Ah, come on, your hair is, your toe is nothing compared to your eye. So what? So what are you trying to make? That's my, it's me. That's my hair. That's my, the same thing with the world. The world now seems to be all divided up, but really the whole thing is one big body. It's one big creation of the Creator. And when we feel that, then we'll feel true unity. That, hey, that's God's world. Hey, that's God's money. That's God. Like we feel, hey, that's my toe. That's my. We'll feel the unity of all, even though there's all these distinctions, but still is all is under one category of God, the Creator. So that's what it means. The world will be filled with the knowledge of God, the awareness of God. And Rambam even adds on, Maimonides adds on, he quotes Isaiah, the world will be filled with the knowledge of God. But that's not enough. It says the world will be filled with the knowledge of God like water fills the ocean. Like water fills the ocean. And the world will be filled with the awareness of God means that the world will be filled and permeated with the awareness of God. Why? Because it'll be such a pure level of godliness. I'm sorry, the world will be filled with the awareness of God. This is referring to the level of God which can be comprehended by the world. This is like the level of the Torah that comes down and it's in the world according to the world. Everything is used. But when Rambam says, Maimonides says, quotes Isaiah, when Isaiah says the world will be filled with the knowledge of God, this is knowing that God is creating us, like we said before. God is creating everything. The world is an amazing miracle. And God has a reason for the creation. That's the Torah. Why does he have to add on that he'll fill the world like water fills the ocean? Why? That the existence of the earth will be covered completely by the awareness, by a flood of knowledge. Because it'll be such a level of godliness which is totally above any human comprehension, even spiritual comprehension. This will be the essence of the Torah, which is the awareness of God in its purity and its essence. The wisdom of God, the Torah, one God. So first of all, the world will be filled with the knowledge of God. That's godliness, which is relevant to creation. And when it says that it'll be filled like water fills the earth, that's the wisdom, that's godliness in the Torah. That by means of drawing down the essence of godliness, which is in the Torah, there's only one God, right? And when God created the world, he did it with words. And when God spoke the Torah, he also did it with words. So that's the same thing, right? It says totally not. And the words that God spoke of the Torah, that's the inner, the essence of God. That's why God is creating the world. And the world itself, that's the fact that God is creating the world. So that the world will be filled with the knowledge of God. That's the fact that God is creating the world. But when it says that it'll be like water fills the ocean, that's why God is creating the world. It says, this revelation of God will be revealed, that the whole essence of the world is only there to reveal the wisdom of God. Kulam b'chachmas, that everything was made from God's wisdom, from the Torah. Like the rabbis say, everything that God made, he only made for his glory. And the glory is the Torah. In the language of the Rambam, Maimonides, in the beginning of his book, it says, let's connect the beginning. Let's connect the beginning of the Maimonides book to the end. What are we talking about, Maimonides book? The Maimonides book is really 14 volumes. It's called Yad HaChazakah. Yad is 14. It's 14 volumes which contain all of the laws and the principles of the Torah, which are useful, which are relevant in any way to be used now in the days of the Moshiach, whatever. So it says, what's the end? The very end is the world will be filled with the knowledge of God like water fills the ocean. That's the end. That's the conclusion. What's the beginning, the very beginning of this 14-volume masterpiece? Oh, it says, Yesod Yesodos va'amud hachachmos, the foundation of foundations and the pillar of wisdom. This is the first letters of God's name, by the way, Yud, and then Hey, and then Vav Hey. The foundation of foundations and the pillar of wisdom is to know that there is a first existence. And all that exists in the world only exists from his true existence. And that's what the Torah says. There is nothing except for God. Oh. That's how the Rambam begins. We can say maybe he's hinting at these same two things. The godliness in the world and the essence of God, which that's the Torah. We can say that the preparation for the completion of the world in the future, when the world will be divided into 13, when the land of Israel, rather, will be divided into 13 tribes, even the tribe of Levi, the ones who are devoted to God, will be one of the portions of Israel. This will be by means of, and because of, the unity of the Jewish people and the Torah. When did this begin? This began by the sending of the spies by means of Joshua. When Joshua sent the spies, and that already was the final step in what Moses began. This added on the sending of spies by means of this, that he sent also Pinchas. Why did he send Pinchas? Because Pinchas was from the tribe of Levi. And Levi represents one of the tribes that's going to receive a portion of the land of Israel, the 13th. This is the 13th tribe. And this is the numerical value of 1. If so, that's what it says. The foundation of foundations is to know that there is a first creator. That's what the Rambam says. Like the Torah says. So here's 2 levels of unity. To know that there is a creator, and that's also that creator gave the Torah. That's a higher level of unity of God. And that's going to be expressed by Pinchas from the tribe of Levi, that Levi's whole thing was devoting themselves to the Torah. That's a higher level of unity. Therefore, in the future, the land of Israel is going to be divided into 13, which 13 is the numerical value of one echad. As we will discuss tomorrow. We'll finish this, God willing, tomorrow on Friday. And there are 12, yeah, we'll finish this up tomorrow on Friday, and I'll also tell over another speech of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, God willing. So let's do the Yom Yom now. So that's the idea of it. Now the Rebbe is going to explain also, that's the connection also with tzitzit. That's the end of this week's Torah portion. It's talking about these tzitzit, about the strands of them. Okay, as we'll talk about more, God willing, tomorrow. Tune in. Here we have the Yom Yom.